You're listening to the Think Unbroken podcast, where our mission is to give you the tools to heal, overcome the past, get unstuck, and become the hero of your own story. I'm your host, Michael Unbroken, author, speaker, coach, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. It's our mission to end generational trauma in our lifetime through education and information. Thank you so much for being here, being a member of the Unbroken Nation, and learning how to become unbroken. Please do me a favor. It would mean the world to me if you take 30 seconds, leave a review for the show on iTunes so that other people can find this information, and check out our YouTube channel if you just search Think Unbroken. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Michael Anthony, and welcome to Think Unbroken, where our goal is to help you understand the past, become the hero of your own story, and to get out of the vortex. Recently, I wrote a blog post about 5 things that you can do to begin the healing journey. One of the most important things that I think right out of the gate that most people can utilize that they don't realize that they have access to is a coach. Coaches and mentors are people who help guide you in the right direction. Now, unlike a therapist or someone that you would hire in a specialty in a modality like that, a coach or a mentor is someone who's going to be a guide for you, someone who's going to call you on your bullshit, somebody who's going to say, hey, Tom, Sally, Karen, wake up. You're not doing the things that you said you were going to do. One of the biggest areas that people fault in when they're in the healing journey is lack of accountability. I know that for myself, for a very long time, I made excuses for every reason that my life was a shamble, that it was unsuccessful, that I was miserable, that I was hurting. Because I realized that whenever you can make an excuse, you don't have to step up to the plate for yourself. So having a coach or a mentor, someone like what I do with Think Unbroken, is super valuable because it gives you leverage in getting out of your own damn way, which I know if you're like me, you've probably been guilty of a time or two. So that's 1. 2 is finding a therapist. I don't think that there's any substitute for someone who's trained in understanding the human psychology. If you are serious about healing, I suggest that you find a real therapist. There are options, and I realize depending on where you are in the world, this is probably very expensive. If you live in the States, like I used to, a session could cost you $150 an hour. That's very, very expensive. One of the options that you can utilize is BetterHelp. I have no affiliation with them. I'm not going to get paid $1 if you sign up with them, but something to consider. So check out betterhelp.com. It's online. It's like literally a phone app where you can chat with a therapist. And there's other online therapy options available out there for you too. So start there, go out there, find options, go find a therapist. Cause I think the number one thing that a therapist is going to do is help you get a better relation and understanding of who you are in conjunction with the things that happened to you in your past, right? I was able to find an amazing therapist who practiced in Gestalt therapy. And what I found with him was a relation. So he was like a mirror for me. I would say, okay, so this is my understanding of why I'm doing this. He would mirror it back without judgment or persecution. He'd say, okay, well, do you think that's why? And so on and so forth. Now, different therapists have different modalities and different ways that they're going to approach helping you through the process. But for me, that seemed to be the most beneficial. And I've tried them all from EMDR to talk therapy to art therapy. I've done everything that you can imagine. I think number 3 is really important, and that is doing stuff. A lot of time when you are in this place where you're lonely, you're depressed, you're upset, it's so much easier to just stay in bed all damn day. I've been guilty of that time and time again, but you are not going to grow. Nothing in your fucking life is going to change if you're staying in bed all day. It's just not. And this isn't me berating you. This isn't me beating you up, but it's me telling you like straightforward. If you want to grow, you have to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to get out of bed. You have to find community. You have to do things that are going to make you a better person. Hey, Unbroken Nation, we'll be right back to the show, but I wanted to let you know that you can grab a copy of my first book, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma, for free. If you go to book.thinkunbroken.com, you can download the PDF ebook version of the book and get everything that I know about the baseline of healing trauma for free, downloaded to your email right now. Just go to book.thinkunbroken.com to download your copy of Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma for a PDF for your phone. Again, that is book.thinkunbroken.com. So challenging yourself to even little things. Let's say you've been stuck in bed for a week. You are super fucking depressed, right? Go outside, make your bed, take a shower, Eat something healthy, not beer, not chips, not pizza. Go outside. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's sunny. Just go and exist without a phone, without a distraction. Walk around your neighborhood for 5 minutes. Just exist. One of the things that happens so often is that we're dissociated and we're always distracted. And so if you can get your brain and your body reconnected, that's going to pay you dividends in time. And it starts with little baby steps, right? And then from there, you can get yourself more uncomfortable. Like, what can you do to continue to grow? What are the things that you're interested in? What are the things that you want to do? Start identifying those, start moving towards them, because ultimately the best thing that you can do for yourself is do shit, right? Laying in bed all day, being miserable and sulking is not going to get you anywhere. And trust me, this is coming from a guy who spent many, many days in bed. For me, I refuse to do that now because I realize like that is something that is indicative of past behaviors that are going to keep me stuck in the vortex. You have to educate yourself. This is number 4. I think educating yourself about the mechanisms and the science of trauma can give you a one up as you're going through your journey. When you take into consideration the fact that your brain is this malleable and plastic object inside of your head that is always looking to grow and change, you can force it to grow and change. I think about something like self-talk, for instance. When I first started this journey, I talked to myself worse than anyone I allowed to talk to me. I called myself stupid, retarded. I said I'm dumb. All these things that got buried into my head as a child: fat, ugly, loser. All these things that people told me through my teen years. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm never going to be enough. These were all things that I constantly told myself because these are the things that were told to me. When I started educating myself and realized that certain practices like NLP could be placed into my daily curriculum, and I could go, okay, whenever I say something bad, I'm going to say something good. Slowly but surely, I began to erase those old thoughts and replace them with healthy and sustainable ones. So something to think about: where are the areas and aspects of your life that you can educate yourself about the trauma that you've been through, right? If you suffered severe trauma as a child, there are all kinds of sources and outlets out there. I post all the time on Think Unbroken and on my social media about different education that I come across, because I've been studying trauma ad nauseum for 6 years, even though it's been a part of my life for over 30. One of my favorite books that I recommend, if you're starting at scratch, if you have no idea like what the fuck you're doing right now, go and buy a book called The Body Keeps the Score. I think that is the baseline, one of the most important pieces of literature on childhood trauma and abuse. You can also check out thinkunbroken.com/resources. And I put a whole bunch of my favorite things there: different podcasts, different videos, different documentaries. I actually just posted a documentary, my top 7 favorite documentaries about childhood trauma and abuse. Always find a way to learn more. And finally, now this isn't for everyone, but I think it's an important part of the process is speaking up. I think that we owe it to ourselves to step up to the plate and say, hey, this happened to me. Not necessarily for, a spotlight, but just to continue to educate the world. And I think this is important because I found that when I started doing that, more people related to me. When I started sharing my story, more people reached out to me, more friends, more community, more things started to grow around me. Being someone who has survived trauma can be very, very isolating. If you're watching this, you might understand that. And so I want you to think about what happens if you can actually connect to other people who have experienced the same. I was shocked to discover that some of my best friends, people I've known for 15 years, had similar experiences. That all started because I was able to put myself in a position where I said, I'm going to talk about this. Even though it's crazy fucking uncomfortable, I'm going to step into owning this. And it may be different for you. Speaking up might be going to a support group. It might be actually just talking to your therapist. It might be something. But the point of speaking up is about just getting this off our chests. If you're carrying around this boulder like Atlas and the world is right here consuming you, you can't step forward. You can't move forward, right? You're always going to be stuck by the burden of that weight. But each time you share your story, if you're like me, a little of that burden is lifted. And slowly but surely, you're able to feel a little bit lighter. So just my thoughts on a recent blog post that I shared with you guys. You can check it out at thinkunbroken.com. You can find me on Instagram and the social media at Michael Unbroken. And until next time, my friends, be unbroken. See ya. Thank you so much for listening to Think Unbroken. Please share this episode with someone who could use it and help us move forward in our mission of ending generational trauma in our lifetime. And if you would, please take 5 seconds to pop on iTunes or Spotify, hit that 5-star, leave a review, and you can also reach out to us on social at Michael Unbroken or at Think Unbroken. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel at Think Unbroken. Thank you for being a part of Unbroken Nation, my friends, and until next time, be unbroken.